You see the cover for something like Panther Squad, and you think you know what kind of movie it is. I assure you, you have no idea what's in store. Panther Squad's a 1984 action movie from director Peter Knight. The movie opens in, The Panther Squad. This must be the soft reboot. The movie opens with some women at the shooting range. They put on these eye blockers to let you know it's serious time. Perhaps for the sequel, they can venture into the R zone. Okay, ma'am, you're clearly aiming at the floor.
She's tough and tender. She's tough and tender. Yeah.
Okay, so are they all tough and tender? There's no bullets in this gun. So after a long intro showcasing the girl's marksman skills, where does the movie go?
Space!
This shuttle launch is brought to you by Noon, the new organization of nations. The president of Noon is giving a speech. I see the journalist is taking completely accurate notes. In the future, the world is banded together under Noon, so they can explore and conquer space.
Which has now reached the high noon of its destiny, conquest of space.
Oh, I see what they did there. They're sending a new ship into space. The Space Jeep?
It's called the Space Jeep.
The president's speech is interrupted by,
As you all know,
okay, his speech is interrupted by clean space.
We have lost our fight against pollution of the earth. We shall win our fight against pollution of space.
Oh, great. Eco-terrorists. Who's their leader?
How dare you!
Clean Space tells everyone that the Space Jeep is under their control unless they meet their demands.
Clean space requires the cancellation of the entire space program.
Yeah, good luck with that. Bill Gates calls the head of control of the space program. He tells them they need to change the trajectory of the Space Jeep. This sends the Micronauts toy into a death spiral. How do you stop this crazy thing? The engineers tell him that no matter what they do, Clean Space has control of the ship. This guy is so upset, he yells into another phone. The Space Jeep is now headed to Mars? Now it's flying towards, is this supposed to be Saturn? Okay, what other space movie did they steal this footage from? Since Clean Space has control of the Space Jeep, this guy tells them they have a backup they can launch. However, they need to bring in their other pilot, Jane Dentine. She probably has amazingly fresh breath. They have security pick up Jane to take her to the airport. On the way there, they run into an obvious trap. They go to move the cars out of the way, but get ambushed. Haikiba! These guys are terrible at their job. The bad guys go to get Jane. These guys are also bad at their job.
Mr. Barrow couldn't make it.
Yeah, don't ask for ID or anything. Okay, so Jane escapes from the kidnappers, only to be kidnapped. Not sure what she thought was going to happen here.
Get me to the airport, quick!
A sniper shoots nowhere near the car, which causes it to crash and kill the scientist guy. Over in Ostende, the bad guys load Jane into a yacht. Typical. Complains about polluting the world from $1 million yacht. They inject her with Jell-O, which gets her to relax. They record a videotape to send to Noon, reinforcing their demands.
We are not murderers.
Well, except for that one guy we just murdered. After seeing the message, they decide it's time to call in Alana and her all-female team of mercenaries. She's watching her top-notch team of recruits.
Damn it!
Best of the best! Okay, there's so many things wrong here. She puts down the gun, throws a knife to set off the explosive, but then runs into the blast radius. She surely failed the test and, okay. Some stock footage of the Concorde. Alana arrives and heads to get intel. This guy sends her to talk to Baba Wims.
Baba Wims.
I am loving this slap bass. She walks around asking for directions. Hi, have you seen me naked? Why, yes, I have seen The Howling 2. Finally, she heads to an alley filled with obvious hooligans. Or perhaps just rejects from Sha Na Na. Barbara isn't there, so Alana gives her a message to pass on. Yeah, she looks trustworthy. I'm sure she won't just forget about it and use the message for rolling paper. Alana goes outside and gets into a super slow-mo fight. Almost feel like this is necessary. The head of Noon tells Alana her contact is Frank Bramble, super drunk. He sits down and, God, you can see his whole area. Meanwhile, the bad guys are traveling with Jane. They drive along and get stuck in a ditch. Oh my God, really? I used to work for a truck parts company. They should be ashamed of getting stuck in a hole this small. Is this the first time they've driven a Jeep? Frank, his bodyguard, and Alana go out for lunch. I guess this is her work attire? They're there to meet Frank's contact. Alana goes to see the contact, but he's already been murdered. I've had too much V8. Ugh. She sees the not-so-stealthy assassin, who she mildly beats up. She then goes to tell Frank what happened. This, of course, leads to a bar brawl.
Yankee, go home.
Wrong game. I play football.
Oh, you do? What position?
What else? Kicker.
A very short bar brawl. They then go to the airport to pick up the cast of New Wave hookers. Ah, good, ladies. I see you aren't dressed too suspiciously or anything.
This is the Panther Squad.
The Panther Squad is so important, none of them have names. So there's a major crisis going on. Should they hurry? Nah. Just go swimming. A couple of bad guys use their amazing skills to walk in the front gate. This guy tries to sneak up on one of them, but she's got a flamethrower hairdryer. Ah! My crotch is on fire! Frank then shoots the other guy. That night, Frank drunkenly falls on Alana. The next day, the squad goes on recon without Frank. Frank receives a package for Alana. Oh, this must be that super secret thingy. The girls find a yacht loaded with rent boys. Hello, ladies, we aren't interested in you. The girls sneak into the boat and take out the crew. I'm starting to think this was a rejected Andy Sidaris script. Things are going okay until they're not. Well, day one already lost 2 girls. Alana goes to distract some soldiers.
I'm a tourist. Would you please take some photos with me and your friends as a souvenir?
Yes, completely believable outfit for a tourist. She then knocks the guys out so hard it changes the film stock. Over at the land headquarters of Clean Space. Oh good, the girls are still alive. The rest of the girls head in for a rescue. Not sure bright pink is the best color outfit for stealth. Alana gets a gun and shoots in where the girls are being held hostage. Frank sees the aftermath and gets drunk. Perhaps they'd have better luck running if there weren't heels? The girls are followed by a helicopter. They hide out in the open. They shoot at the chopper, and this happens. Come on! I guess stock footage of an explosion was cheaper than blowing up a model helicopter. The evil guys are having a lovely brunch. The super evil guys tell Clean Space that they're using them so that they can rule the world.
From there, we will dominate the world.
The head of Clean Space is shocked to find out that the terrorists they've sided with are using them for nefarious reasons. So they kill him. The girls attack the stronghold, which seems to be guarded by ex-sanitation workers. They manage to surprise the guys while they're cheering for El Presidente. It seems the general has the destroy in order to save mindset.
Blow up the world if necessary.
The bad guys very stupidly get away. Alana bounces after him. They then have a showdown at the Space Center. Okay, the girls are mostly standing in the open, and the terrorists are all behind cover. So naturally, the bad guys all get killed and the girls don't even get a scratch. Wall hack. It's an emergency, so Alana gets to use the super secret thing in the box. What is it? It's an optical effects gun. The scientist blows up the Space Center, so it can't be used to blow up the world. A few days later, okay, so even though the Space Center's blown up, they still managed to send Jane on her mission. I guess they gave up on the first pilot, who must be somewhere past Pluto by this point. After a well-earned victory, the girls ride off. Yeah, now roll that spaceship footage from another movie. The end. And absolutely no credits. Panther Squad was a joint production between 3 producers. One was Belgian, one was French, and the other was Spanish. As such, it was shot in locations in Belgium, France, and Spain. While casting, they hired the squad first and needed a standout for the leader. They hired the statuesque B-movie queen, Sybil Danning. She wanted to get into producing, so she came on with the contingency that she also get a producer's credit. She helped to rework some of the script, and also was able to hire Steve Stone, who performed the song Tough and Tender. The writer said Tough and Tender was the best way to describe the actress. The director Peter Knight was actually French director Pierre Chevalier using a pseudonym. He made numerous films with legendary exploitation director Jess Franco, like House of Cruel Dolls. This was the last film he directed. The drunk agent Frank was played by character actor Jack Taylor. He's been in over 100 films, from small stuff like this and Pieces, to larger productions like Conan and The Ninth Gate. Panther Squad is one of the many movies that has badass women taking on a team of evildoers. Sybil Danning is great as the lead. She's awesome as the tough and tender leader, and really shines in these kind of movies. I'm just sad they didn't give her better choreography. The whole movie is goofy. The super team of ladies don't do a whole lot. I'm convinced this was done to be intentionally funny. Everything from the premise, right down to the name of the organization, is silly. Danning was hoping there would have been a TV series. I mean, while it was rated R, it's really PG-13 at worst. There's very little graphic violence and language. And to everyone's surprise, there is zero nudity. The movie is a silly, light-hearted romp with a ridiculous script, goofy jokes, and very pretty ladies. It was a staple of VHS rentals back in the day, probably due to the very eye-catching cover. Panther Squad. A bunch of women try to stop a terrorist organization who wants to stop the exploration of space by blowing up the Earth. I told you, it wasn't what you'd expect.
Was it good for you too?